are these people?
I wanted to talk about North Carolina. This story came up, and I'm not even 100% sure how true it is. Allegedly, the story goes, because this has basically come from right-wing media, all right? This came from the National File, which I didn't really know, but they're definitely like Trumpian right-wing leaning. But this came yesterday, 6:03 p.m. Breaking, the Amish came to Western North Carolina and built 100-plus tiny homes to shelter Helene victims from the cold mountain weather, because it snowed there this week. Local and state authorities kicked the victims out of the houses, saying they didn't pass code.
Yeah, okay. I don't think Jebediah is going to make anything that's going to fall apart in the next couple of days, but,
Well,
you know,
first
what do
of
I
all,
know?
Second of all, there were a lot of replies in the chat underneath saying, if the Amish built it, it's beyond code.
Right. Yep.
All right. And thank you, Natalie, for the support. Appreciate that. Love you.
Yep.
That was Cash App. No fees over there. Appreciate that. That's the best. Anyway, Mitchell County, North Carolina government is what this says. I'm going to read it out. Notice to volunteers for temporary housing. If you are a local volunteer working to bring in temporary housing to support our local community, we first want to thank you for your efforts and commitment. But please remember that any temporary housing installations must comply with North Carolina's building and health codes to ensure safety and well-being for all. Before moving forward, please consult with local officials and relevant departments to verify that all installations are up to code. You know they're going to bring their own contractors and inspectors in. Our inspections department's phone number is this. Please see below for a statement from Division Chief of Codes and Interpretations, David Rittlinger. Okay, temporary shelters and dwellings. Remember, they're freezing. 2 months ago.
Right.
This happened. Go ahead, Reef.
Where's that Homes on Homes guy at when you need him?
Mike Holmes? Oh, he retired. Like, he doesn't do that shit anymore.
Bro, if he needs one more, we could get, I'm in.
I love that guy.
Like, yeah, he should definitely be on this. Like, and there's plenty of YouTubers that do inspections and all sorts of stuff that, like, get them out there too. Be like, these are great. You know, they need the help. I'm sure, I'm sure we can GoFundMe that, which you're going to get to that in a bit.
Here, this is the thing. Additionally, the building may not comply with life, safety, and weather protection standards, all right, such as proper fire protection safety measures, sanitation, insulation, and waterproofing measures, which are crucial for safety and comfort. Moreover, unstable soil conditions, particularly in areas where flooding has occurred, need to be evaluated. Topsoil is likely saturated with water, which may contribute to a significant loss of structural load-bearing support for temporary shelter buildings and dwellings, increasing the risk of collapse of buildings damage or collapse or damage. Understandable.
I mean, there's ways around that.
Right. So he says,
but there's like building construction for that. Like okay, let's put those in. Make sure it's super rock solid. Put in earthquake bars and whatever. Cool. That's like not hard to do if that's what we're doing.
Right.
Like, it just seems like delaying the process for no reason.
Right. Given these considerations, any temporary shelters and dwellings not meeting the minimum requirements should not be occupied, even if temporarily. Yeah. Ensuring compliance with established codes is essential to protect occupants from potential hazards and to maintain the structural integrity of the building. I would say that freezing to death outside is more important, but that's me. He says, I understand temporary housing is crucial in the recovery. However, safety cannot be compromised. Like permanent buildings and structures, proposed temporary shelters and dwellings and their locations shall be reviewed by the local code enforcement, and they have to be paid under the table in order to allow it to continue. I just added that part.
Yeah.
And it's time to take your local governments, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of people basically saying, if you don't hate your government, if you think you hate your government enough, you don't. Freezing to death in a tent or living in a temporary heated shelter that may not pass code, which would you rather have? Here's Ryan Dawson, not a fan, but he replied.
Yeah, neither am I.
The idiot that kicked people out of houses for the Amish built for hurricane victims. All right. Let her know how you feel. He's doxing her with her .gov email address. It's not really doxing because it's
Ryan,
public.
Anytime you want to spar, dog, I got you, homie. Know what I'm saying?
I don't think he wants to scrap. All right.
Yeah, I think he's good.
But
weight classes are a thing, dog.
But
anyway,
here's someone who says, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Here's them taking the pictures of the Amish there setting up the houses.
Yeah. Yeah, those look good. 16 on centers, cross braces.
Yeah.
You know?
No, what they're saying
floating
is
foundation.
the land might, the topsoil might be corrosive, but they didn't go and get the permits and do the testing and everything else before.
Yeah, I also don't think it's like, I don't think it's a structural foundation like that, you know?
Right?
Like if you look at the thing, I think they're on like cinders. You know?
In the meantime, Denver is building similar shelters at a walled compound by I-25, costing the city as yet untold tens of millions of dollars. And Andrew stating that East Palestine's train crash was a direct attack on the Amish communities in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Andrew doesn't live far from East Palestine, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. So what a beautiful community to rally together to help. And you know what? That's what we're going to talk about next. But they're still being fucked over and abandoned by this government. And we're going to talk a lot about this from one family's perspective. And that man is Matt Van Swol. I started following this guy about a month ago. Somebody I know in my other world, in my real world, in my professional life, actually shared this story. All right. And I saw it like through my own world. And I'm like, holy shit. My two worlds collide. So I'm going to tell the story of Matt Van Swol and what he does and what he's doing and what he's been through. So he is a former nuclear scientist for the Department of Energy. He's an ex-photographer for Apple and United and Hyatt. And right now he works for Wisecam. Okay. Wisecam, I believe, is actually an Amazon company, but believe it or not. Right. But he lives in Asheville. It starts on September 30th. Now, this guy didn't tweet much. He's not very active on Twitter. But he says, it's with a heavy heart that I have to say that we evacuated from our home. For anyone looking to get out of Asheville, the only route out to Charlotte is 26 to 84 to 85, 74 to 85. Cell service is almost non-existent, so please share with anyone looking to leave. So he has a 5-second video of just how bad it is coming in. Yeah, that's the storm surge coming up to like his level, and they're getting the fuck out, as well they should. All right. Now we move up to October 24th already, and FEMA has already set the $750. It's already almost a month later, and he says, "This is my road home. $750 should cover it, right, FEMA?" So, what are we talking about here? Well, show me the money! There's only one problem. He's going to show you what that problem is. Here's the road. Here's where it's supposed to go. Oops. It's a bridge. $750 will fix that, right?
Yeah.
No, that's a lot of damage.
Okay. So I pray for you and your family. There's more than one route in or out, but who knows when this will get rebuilt. It's going to be years. All right.
Thoughts and prayers, though.
All right. This was, again, a month ago today. Now, he goes through his whole saga of what it takes to get a FEMA check. It's so easy to get a check from FEMA. All you have to do is get denied 3 times, upload a photo of your receipt in a post on Twitter, make it get 5.4 million views, organize a congressional hearing with the director of FEMA, and boom, you've got a check in the mail.
Bullshit.
Money, please.
Not $750, $629.
You greedy dirtbag.
For the record, I have no idea what I did right the 4th time to get to receive this check. I basically uploaded the same information every time. My advice to people who are still getting denied is just keep trying over and over again. I wish I knew the answer. 32,000 likes, 6,000 retweets, 1,000 comments, and a lot of people see how the system works. Seems easy enough. It's ridiculous. Here's our friend Aaron. Just a thought. After all that, you got $629. Yeah, that's right. I'll bet that $629 is going to rebuild everything you lost. Unbelievable. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Next. Now, during this time.
Oh, wait, there's more.
During this time, he also gets picked up. I believe he goes on Fox News. All right. So now they do this video about. Now, this is a 5-minute video about the real truth about FEMA from people on the ground in Asheville.
You wouldn't end up on Fox News if this happened during the next administration, but
no,
you know, I digress.
Well, you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to happen the minute Trump comes into office? This isn't going to go away. Now, Fox will stop talking about it, and it'll switch to MSNBC and CNN will start talking about it. And how...
Yeah, unless Elon buys it. And how Trump, Alex Jones ain't going to cover that.
And how the Trump administration is failing now to deliver on what Biden couldn't do in months before, of course.
They're flooding the gay frogs' homes.
All right, but here, check this out.
A little update since our Fox News interview went viral yesterday. They did ask me about what federal assistance we have seen in the area. I think specifically they were trying to ask about FEMA, but being nice about it. And since then, you know, we have received a ton of messages, both online, and I talked to a couple of people today in person at our just local gym, and people are pissed.
It was like as soon as we went on Fox, like the floodgates open and we started hearing stories from our actual friends who were just too embarrassed to say like, oh, I got rejected, or the small business story that you heard today.
Yeah, where it's just like, you know, people who have small businesses downtown that thought they were going to get money from the Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration was like, nope, that's FEMA. And FEMA was like, nope, that's the SBA. And so they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to submit both places. And then they got rejected. And now they've got to pay workers with funds that they do not have. So, I mean, I'm personally very concerned that all of these businesses that usually rely on tourism are going to shut down because they cannot make it without the tourist income, and the tourists are not here. And that's just the small businesses. The actual locals with homes, I feel like, is the most confusing bit, because I mean, I said on air that we did get a $750 check, but what I didn't say on air was that I submitted receipts of thousands of dollars of expenses. You know, like our generator was running for 16 days and it was using 20 to 25 gallons of gas a day. I mean, that's just hundreds of dollars just in gas, not to mention the chainsaw. Starlink cost was a couple $100.
And keep in mind, that wasn't to have like a luxurious life. That was to keep
the lights
our
on.
neighbor's CPAP machine going.
Yeah.
And food in the fridge to feed our family.
That's right. And so, you know, our neighbor who thankfully still has a house, you know, he's a manager at a big box store, and he was rejected for the $750. You know, when COVID happened, we all got a ton of money in the mail, you know, no questions asked.
Wouldn't say it was a ton.
I don't know about a ton there, dog.
But here people are just getting rejected for random reasons. This is all over the radio too. Like local radio this morning was just covering people calling in saying, I keep getting rejected from FEMA. How do I get this money? Because I keep getting rejected and I really need this money.
And we were being polite yesterday, saying that the confusion is our biggest word. And now I'm just pissed because I'm hearing story after story from people that I know, people that I care about, that have either lost everything or lost their ability to work. And there's no, the only thing they actually have access to is the kindness of others, wealthy people in Asheville that are helping, wealthy people outside of Asheville that have come here to help. Why are we having to do this just as people? I love that it's bringing out the goodness in people, but why are we paying taxes? Why are we doing all of this, working our butts off and giving it to the government if they aren't coming to help?
Right.
What, like,
someone needs to explain why
Ukraine.
FEMA with a $20 billion budget.
Shouldn't you be picking yourself up by your own bootstraps?
Like,
Byron, the labor and delivery nurse, Samaritan's
FEMA with a $20 billion budget is not rebuilding the roads, rebuilding the businesses, rebuilding the houses. Someone needs to explain that to me, because I have... Does
it have a $20 billion budget?
Me are my neighbors. My neighbors came with chainsaws and cut us out of our driveway so that we could get out.
Yes,
our neighbors have been pulling trees
community.
I have been pulling trees.
Man, there's a
for people. I haven't seen
whole financial system that
any of that, and
based off that's crazy.
I mean, it is absolutely infuriating.
We have friends, like one of our friends, the girl who delivered Byron, the labor and delivery nurse, Samaritan's Purse was who helped her. It wasn't FEMA. It was Samaritan's Purse. It was a
gutted
nonprofit.
Her house, and now she's she didn't have flood insurance, because why would she? Because FEMA did not allocate the actual resources to go in and zone places for flooding. They were years behind on that, which is a story that's not being told either.
Yeah, they're still doing that in New Orleans, bro.
This is just like along the river. This is not just along the river. This is all over the place in Western North Carolina. It's not just Asheville. It's not just the surrounding areas. I'm hearing from people 2 hours away from us that lost everything. So, and that have not gotten any support other than from neighbors or people that fly in from other states just out of the goodness of their heart to come and help. So, like, I just heard World Central Market, World Central Kitchen
Jose
has
Andres.
said that this is the longest they will have stayed
Andres.
in any U.S. city.
Ever.
Okay.
And
that makes me suspicious
there's no
as fuck.
infrastructure. It's because there's no clean water. That's crazy. We need more help. Like, we are in Weaverville. Weaverville is great.
Pretty great. Yeah.
Outside of Weaverville, not
screwed.
Freaking great.
Yeah.
So come and help. And don't make it just up to people out of the goodness of their heart. If you have an organization dedicated to disaster relief, get your ass here.
You got dump trucks? Come. Because, boy, oh boy, we really need them.
Chainsaws? Anything.
Yeah. I guess that's all we wanted to say.
All right.
But I'm surprised that wasn't the response you got from Fox. Normally they'd tell
want to give
Democratic places to bootstrap it up. So,
all right. So again, this was October 22nd. This one was the 24th when November 20th he got his check. That was just the other day. October 24th. This was after they did the Fox News thing. He saw the road was washed out. All right. Then we've got
Grapentine in the chat. Government is good at stopping community work. Then the government leads people to think government is the problem, then blame it on communism. Yeah.
That
is correct, sir.
Andrew here. It sounds fucked up, but it's a good thing that FEMA's showing how much of a failure the federal government is. People who once believed the lies of the government are now seeing what the truth is. Yeah, except there's a lot of people that are just putting their heads in the sand and not paying attention to any of this, especially because if they don't watch Fox News, the media is not covering any of this because they're covering for the Democrats who don't want anyone to hear about this. Even though they just lost, they have nothing to lose now. They still aren't talking about it. They won't. Right? I hope crypto mining is involved. It's not crypto mining, but it is lithium mining and quartz mining. All right? And we talked about that when we talked about Hurricane Helene with the Jets when they were on a few weeks ago. And
have a good time with your Bitcoin, your crypto, and everything else that you're playing with.
Right. Oh, hey, the oligarchy needs resources, not democracy, silly wabbits. That's right, Natalie. Right? But here, November 4th, he says, Marshall, North Carolina, 1 month later, the world has moved on. The camera crews are gone, but we are still here, shoveling mud, boiling water, clinging to hope. Please don't forget about us in Western North Carolina. Now, he made this video with History Boutique. Okay, you don't need our permission to share it or use this footage. But if you do, help support one of the businesses in Marshall at helpmarshall.org. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat for everyone to share.
And like, you know, listen, I know people feel a way about the whole climate change dirty word, but clearly we're going to have to start prepping for bigger storms. I don't care what you think's causing it, but maybe we should fucking build some infrastructure and systems in place to help deal with these fucking problems instead of just allowing people to drown.
So I don't know if
you know,
music were allowed to.
Probably not.
But look at the destruction that's cleaning out the buildings.
Yeah.
This is a month later. Destroyed. And there's nobody rebuilding it. They're still cleaning it up.
That railroad looks pretty good, though, for being underwater.
Yeah.
You know?
This looks like Marshall.
Sure.
We talked about
Marshall?
We talked about
that Marshall?
No, not that Marshall. They're in West Virginia. All right, another 10 seconds ish. But just
small town USA trying to get
almost see the
cleaned
pavement.
Up.
Like right there. That's the main road. That's Main Street, I'm sure.
A lot of sediment pulled down.
Man.
All
right. Now
it happens. I've been there.
3 weeks ago it was election day. The entire city of Asheville is without clean drinking water. And we won't have it until after Thanksgiving. At least. Yet we are still here, standing in line at the polls. You have no excuse, go vote. Well, you do have an excuse. If that's the road that you took to get to the polls, first of all. But second of all, because voting is a bullshit consent ritual that wasn't going to fundamentally change anything, and you should have spent the day cleaning your house up, you would have been a lot more productive than voting for either side, because it wasn't going to help you.
Go to the polls.
So I got to disagree with you there, but I love you and respect you, and I'm so sorry. 40 days already without clean water. All right. Here's, let's go red wave. Everyone's, this is before the election. I guess they have ranked choice voting in North Carolina.
That's good. That's going to help you. That check mark. Good for you.
I don't think that's how ranked choice voting is supposed to work. But, okay. Oh, God. Anyway.
Yeah, stop scrolling.
Anyway.
You're scrolling Twitter. Bad.
No, I'm scrolling his replies because, anyway.
But that's on what?
I saw this yesterday. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to bring the story of what's happening in Western North Carolina in the first place. Breaking, FEMA has confirmed that they are, quote, not allowed to distribute money to survivors if they are receiving money from a GoFundMe page.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To be clear, everyone in Western North Carolina that's been affected by Helene has a GoFundMe page right now. This is insane. All right, that was the other night. Friday night I saw this and I went, oh my God, now I got a story. This is insane. Nobody's talking about this. And confirmed. Wait, there was a thing about how it was confirmed. I want to get to that. Maybe it was somebody underneath said, for the record, this was pulled from a QA with FEMA directly. By law,
Yeah, by
FEMA
law,
isn't
FEMA
allowed to distribute money to
to
survivors
distribute money.
if they're getting financial assistance from another source, like a GoFundMe page. Because your $750 is definitely worth more than the $50,000 that they raised on
50,000.
GoFundMe. You fucking
Like, if he
assholes.
didn't do that, he'd be fucking, yeah, whatever.
Well, what they would say is, well, what's
I mean,
the
you should be
$750?
Right. You should be giving him, like,
$50,000.
the amount raised. You'd be matching.
Yes.
Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, here we go. Monarch. What happens if FEMA finds out that survivors are receiving money via stock and crypto assets? Like, is FEMA going to be like, hell to gnaw to the hell to the gnaw? Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Everybody's got a social security
I am once
number.
again asking for your financial support.
Yes, this is criminal government. This is a criminal government. We are living in a rapacious oligarchy, as a few people that we know have said many, many times over.
Yep.
Matt made another video. This one's just 19 seconds long. This was on Thursday. Shockingly little progress has been made in the cleanup efforts across rural mountain areas of western North Carolina. It's hard to overstate the sheer volume of debris that exists in every town, everywhere across Appalachia. At the current pace, it will take decades, not years. His wife made this, and he again said that everyone is free to use and share this video. And these are different areas and different states. God. 19 seconds more. Just devastating.
I mean, I've seen worse.
I'm sure you have. You've seen the aftermath of like really bad hurricanes.
It's like for me, it's like I'm like, yeah, that's a couple of days of cleanup. You know, some of that's pretty bad. I mean, you look at that container, look how far it's in sediment, right? So that means all that sediment gets washed down and liquidation, so that something super heavy like that gets sunk about, I don't know. I mean, you could forklift that out. Yeah, I mean, front end loader that. Like,
one other part to this, and I got one more tab, and then we're gonna cut out and go get to the videos and things to watch. But this one also got me, and this was put out. When did he put this one out? November 20th. So again, this was like Wednesday. All right. The stories about DHS taking kids away from parents that you've been hearing from people in Western North Carolina are not conspiracy theories. Here's how it works. Your 3-generation family home sits on 52 acres deep in the Appalachian Mountains. It's not much, but it's always been home. Helene hits and trees fall through your living room, kitchen, and heavy rain destroys everything you own. You and your kids set up on a campsite outside the home that your family's been in for generations, believe it's worth staying and rebuilding. You submit your application to FEMA at the local library computer to get that $750 everyone's been talking about. It's been a couple weeks.
You're lucky the library's still there.
Right? It's been a couple weeks. You've been able to get some serious work done with help of your neighbors and local church members. Things are progressing. One day out of nowhere, FEMA shows up. They do that because you filled out the application that you were displaced from your home, and they're coming to check on you. So FEMA sees that you're in a tent or a makeshift shelter combo using the remnants of your home. They then declare that this living situation is unsafe and that you need to either move to a shelter or submit an application for FEMA housing unit. You obviously submit an application for a temporary home from FEMA. Unfortunately, FEMA is so slow at their job, you've waited 2 weeks to receive any temporary housing unit, and they're still doing the paperwork. Sadly, during this time period, someone from FEMA, during the application process, pinged DHS that there's a family with 2 kids living in an unsafe situation. Then DHS workers are rightly concerned about whatever could be occurring and drive up the mountains to check on the family and are horrified to see a family living in a tent.
Hey, you know, there's this place over in the Middle East where lots of families are living in tents, but, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm just saying,
They talk to the parents
Just
and
saying.
declare that their kids cannot live like this, that they need to leave at once or be forced to deal with the legal process.
So you're saying a U.S. governmental agency is saying that kids shouldn't be living in tents? Okay, I'll write that one down for later. You know, like
Nobody wants to work anymore.
Right? But
We're fucked.
that was the one I was looking for.
sure.
Then they talk to the parents and declare the kids can't live like this. They need to leave at once or be forced to deal with the legal process. The parents are angry, scared, and confused. They try explaining to the Homeland Security workers that FEMA said they could get a temporary
DHS.
housing structure on their land, and they've just been waiting for it to arrive. The discussions get heated, and the parents who are scared that their children are about to be taken from them get hostile and demand that DHS leave immediately. DHS submits paperwork that the parents were hostile and keeping their kids in an unsafe living condition. That paperwork now lives in the legal system forever and is referred to the authorities. The complexities of what's happening in Western North Carolina cannot be overstated. The story above, though paraphrased from things I've heard, illustrates how a family just wanting to live a quiet life can become embroiled in the legal system, even by people who mean well and want to help.
I just tried to click your notifications. That's how trained
funny.
I am.
Nice.
I'm like, ooh, notifications.
All right. So also Chicago, Andrew saying that California, Texas, New York, they're doing this all over.
Yeah.
All right. This is why the Second Amendment exists. There are so many DHS agents. I wouldn't shoot at a DHS agent that came on my property and threatened to take my kids either. You think that's going to make them not want to take your kids? All right.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Who are these people?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's disgraceful.
Who are these people?
Yeah, who are these people? Who the fuck do these people think they are? Really, really just wow. Talking about stuff like that definitely is why we will never be remonetized. My guess is on YouTube. So if you do appreciate the reporting and journalism like this and stories like this, let us keep the lights on, keep doing this. Please join that wall of fame if you haven't already. All these awesome people already have. Easiest way to do that is Cash App. If you've got that, $ Indie News Network, INDIE. All right, Ko-fi.com, PayPal, Patreon. There's also INNnewsletter.com you see going across the scroll. All right, there you can support that with a monthly